In this first session, we'll be looking at the art, or the science, of finessing. And as you know, finessing is a way of making extra tricks. And bridge, like so many of our worldly pursuits, abounds with cliches. And one that I hear quite a lot is, "Oh dear, my finesse has never worked." Well, they seem to be working for other people, so hopefully after this session, they'll work a lot better for you. I would like to acknowledge that the material for this webinar comes from Cantar's Introduction to the Clearest Play and Gardner and Mollow's Card Play Technique. Look at this first very simple example. Here, you're certain of taking two tricks. It doesn't matter whether you lead the 2 first of all towards the king, or the 5 first of all towards the ace. Example 2. Here, you would like the king to win a trick. But if you lead the king, you win nothing. Here, you must lead a small card towards the king, hoping that the ace is to your left. And this example highlights a very important aspect of finessing. You must always lead towards the card with which you wish to win the trick. Take the trick. In other words, the lead must always come from the hand opposite the honour. And I can't stress that enough. It's very important. Now in this example, you would like your queen to win a trick. So remember, you must lead towards it. So you lead a 4 towards your queen, hoping that the king is to your right. And so far, so good. Now we're going to have a look at a couple of examples that are a little more complicated. And this first one is known as a double finesse. And in this example, you'd like to win 2 tricks. So you lead the 2 towards the 10. Your right hand opponent, for example, wins with the queen. Later on, you get back to your hand and you play the 5 towards the jack, hoping now that the left hand opponent holds the king. If your right hand opponent has both the king and the queen, well, wasn't your day. Don't buy yourself a lottery ticket on the way home from bridge. This is another very common example. In this example, you'd like to win 2 tricks. So you lead a small one, a 5, towards the ace. Then you play the 4 towards your queen, hoping that the king is to your right. It would be very wrong to lead the queen, because you'd only lead the queen if you're holding the jack, and preferably the 10 also. Again, this is another very common example that we all see at the bridge table. In this example, lead the queen, hoping that the king is to your left. If successful, simply play the jack and then the 10. Alright, now it's time for you to do some work. In these examples, it might be an idea to switch off your webinar for 30 seconds and work out your answer, rather than just listening to me. Alright, in the first one, lead the 3 towards the king, hoping the ace is to your left. If the finesse succeeds, get back to your hand and lead the 4 towards the queen. In this way, you'll make 2 tricks. In this example, lead the 4 and play the ace-queen from dummy, ace king from dummy, hoping that the queen drops. Now if the queen doesn't drop, lead the 2 toward your jack, hoping that the queen is to your right. In this example here, you can lead the jack, hoping the queen is to your left. You can lead the jack because you also hold the 10. And if the queen comes up to your right, well, now you've promoted your jack anyway. In this example, lead a 2 to the ace, and then lead the 5 towards your queen. You might feel like a quick break now. Take your break and we will continue. The essence of every finesse is hope. The hope that the missing card is where you want it to be. Let's look at some more examples. In this example, you would lead the 2 to the 9. Alright, the 9 most probably falls to the king or to the queen. Later you get back to your hand and you lead the 3 to the jack, hoping that the missing honour is to your left. In this case, you should lead the 2 towards your king. If successful, get back to your hand and repeat the process. Now in this third case, you'll need a little bit of luck. What you've got to find is that one of your opponents has a doubled an ace, and play through him. Alright, let's assume that you think you've worked out that the doubled an ace is to your left. You play the 5 to the king, king holds. Now you play the 2 back, but put in your 6, hoping that your left-hand opponent is forced to play his ace. However, if you think the doubled an ace is to your right, then obviously you play a small one towards your queen first of all, then play the 5 back towards dummy, inserting the 3, again hoping that the doubled an ace falls. So far so good. Let's look at a couple of even more complicated examples. Alright, in an example like this, if the cards were to break 3-3, even a poor player such as myself will make 3 tricks. But what happens if the cards don't break 3-3? And in fact, they will most probably break 4-2. How can you play the cards in order to give yourself a chance of making 3 tricks? Well, if you think the king is to your left, play the 2 towards jack. If you think the king is to your right, play the 3 towards your queen, then play the ace, hoping to drop the doubled and king. In this example, most of us would simply play the queen of hearts. But Cantor says the best way to play a combination such as this is to lead the 2 towards the 10, just in case your left-hand opponent has a singleton king. However, if you have no entries back to your hand, then he suggests lead the queen and hope for the best. In this example, it's important that you keep the 9 in your hand. Lead the 5 and simply insert the 10 from dummy. Alright, now it's time for a little bit of homework. And again, I suggest that when you see the example for which you need to work out the answer, turn off the webinar for 30 seconds rather than simply listening to my answer. In this example, you have entries. You can get the dummy and you can get to your hand. So how do you play it in order to make 3 tricks? You lead the ace first, and then a small one towards the queen. Now here we have the same combination of cards, but there are no side entries to your hand. In this example, you lead a small card away from the ace towards your queen jack. Alright, in this example, you would like the ace to be to your left. So play it that way. Lead a small one to the queen. The queen holds. Now you lead a small one out of dummy and put up your 10, finessing your right-hand opponent for the jack. Your partner will be amazed. In example 4, play the ace first, and then the 2 towards the 10. Now, just to finish up, we've got a couple of hands. They will look the same, but there is a slight difference. In example 5A, you're in 6 diamonds, and your left-hand opponent leads a heart. Alright. Dummy goes down, and of course you take the first lead in dummy with the ace of hearts. What do you lead at trick 2? That's right, you lead the jack of diamonds. Look at 5B. It looks an almost identical set of hands. And you end up in the same contract, 6 diamonds, and you get the same lead, a heart lead. And of course you play the ace and dummy. What do you lead at trick 2 now? Have a think. That's right, you lead the 2 of diamonds this time. You lead the 2 towards the queen of diamonds, then play the ace, hoping to drop the double of the king. You cannot lead your jack in this example, as you did before, because you're not holding the 10 of diamonds. Thank you for your attention. That have been